priest deck that we've seen already from Krip, or the mage that we have yet to see come out in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks the mage out right now. I really wouldn't. It seems like a reasonable idea. The priest could do okay, I think. It could do pretty well. But I think it's a toss-up between the two at this point, and it is going to be the priest. All right, he's going to keep the mage till last.
All right, now we saw this was a very powerful deck last time, and it was able to hold back all three decks that Rekful brought out as well, even though Rekful didn't have the opportunity to win one of those games, unfortunately.
Yes.
So taking a look at things, Artosis now, Lay on Hands is not great. He'll definitely want to get rid of that. Has a Spellbreaker and a Bloodsail Raider. Krip already going through his selections. He's only going to keep that Power Word Shield. He gets rid of the Temple Enforcer, the Shadow Word Death, and the Defender of Argus.
Yep. Tossing the Spellbreaker might not be the worst idea. He's going to toss everything. I thought maybe you keep on hold of the Raider, but ultimately the Raider is actually something you want mid-game when you have a weapon out, not early game. It's like, oh, it's 2 mana. Surely you want it early game. Not necessarily.
Right.
That's a little bit better. Oh, Tyrion Forging is just going to sit there saying hi. But unfortunately, he's just pulled Tyrion Forging against a Priest deck, which is not ideal because Mind Control is too much of a threat. So as much as I think we'd love to see it, we're probably not even going to see Tyrion played. It's too much of a risk against a priest.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, all right, so we're going to start things off now. No obvious plays for either of our players yet. So priest passes the turn, coming right back to our paladin, and he is probably just going to pop a recruit.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't really see an Argent Protector coming out here. And the Ooze could have been coined into, but if that happened, you've got to bear in mind that he knows his opponent's got 4 weapons. So he doesn't really want to waste the Ooze in that respect. So he's thinking about what he wants to do here and thinking, oh, do I really want to do the Ooze? He's actually just going to skip the turn entirely and then destroy the well.
Yeah, I mean, an Ooze is so valuable against a Paladin deck. And it's going to come into effect right here. That 1/5 Sword of Justice just went out, and this is going to get oozed right away, much to the chagrin of Artosis.
Artosis is not going to be happy about that. That is the ultimate destruction of a weapon right there before it even got to be used.
Right.
So he's pretty happy about that, and then buffs it up to a 3/4. So Krip's patience definitely paid off for him there.
All right. Well, Imp Master is probably a decent play here. He's got 2 of them sitting around. Elder Peacekeeper against just a 3/4 Ooze at this point. Not going to be all that great.
Yeah, I'd probably think about the Imp Master at
this
point.
He could do it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, I mean, I guess that works too. Usually you might hold on to the Aldor because you want to use it against something a little bit more powerful. But ultimately, I don't think you want that 3/4 Ooze rampaging everywhere. That's just not going to work out well for you. Yeah. There's the 4/8 Drake coming out. Very, very powerful play there by Krip. Almost the highest you can get that Drake. Consecration is not going to help you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I questioned that play last time from Artosis. It's not bad, but I mean, having the Imp Master out there would have absorbed 1 shot from the Ooze as well. It would have been able to have it still pump out a couple of Imps. He had another one behind that too if ever he drew into another Sword of Justice, but the Imp Master isn't as valuable without the Sword of Justice out there, so honestly, it would have been just nice for it to absorb a few hit points and make sure he can establish his board through other means.
Yeah, okay. Well, Imp Master right now is probably one of his best choices. He can't just sit around taking damage, certainly, but the other choices that he has in his hand just don't really work. So we'll probably see Imp Master Initiate come out and just start to get more minions on the board, give him the possibility to start buffing things up and maybe get into a good spot there. There is the 3/3, so at least that gets rid of that, but it's not a great spot for Artosis initially in this game. That Drake is going to sit there trading forever, and there's not really much he can do about it yet.
And just going through Artosis' deck list here real quick, there are 2 Spellbreakers, which he could potentially draw into right now to be able to help against that Drake. He just hasn't found any of them yet.
All right, Sun Fury Protector comes out. He does have Defender of Argus as well, which might be a decent idea. However, that's going to eliminate that immediately. And you might think, oh, why did he use it on the 3/3 instead of the 1/4? Because it bypasses the Divine Shield, so it is a better play. He absolutely made the right call there. And now he's just going to smash everything and maintain fantastic board control.
Man, we are seeing the power of this deck again. The deck was entitled Control the Drakes, and that's exactly what's happening. Get an early Twilight Drake out there with a ton of hit points, keep healing it up and making sure that it never goes away, especially against this Paladin deck, which doesn't have, honestly, a lot of responses against it. Maybe we could see some sort of a big equality consecration swap here in a bit, but otherwise, ugh.
Not without equality, he's not. I mean, right now, he can roll the dice on Avenging Wrath and potentially get 2 creatures, but ultimately, that's probably not going to happen statistically, so it's a bit of a risk to pull that off. You might kill at least one, which would certainly help, and weakening that Drake will be helpful too, but ultimately, it's now at a point where there's nothing he can really play that's going to stop that damage coming in next turn.
Right. Well, man, I mean, yeah, options are really limited for him. He's going to take at a minimum, there's 10 on the board, and I think there were a couple of other buffs sitting there. I don't exactly remember
He's
what.
He's going to roll the dice. All right, so let's see what he gets. It's not the worst, because at least he gets the 1-1 for the 2-1, but 2 would have been nice. Yes. It was definitely not as good as he was hoping for.
Man, this is such a great deck here.
Look at this.
Man. Yeah, Krip comes out with a Temple Enforcer. He gives his Twilight Drake 3 more health. That's actually going to put it up to a total of 10. He can just heal that back up next time again. Yeah. And it's almost indestructible. True Silver Champion actually does nothing right now because it only takes down half the health of the Twilight Drake, and that can get healed right back up next time.
I think we might see Tyrion Forging next turn, because I just don't see any other possibility. You've got to take the risk that because your opponent is... Here's the thing that at least helps him out, right? Because he ended up going first, he's 1 mana ahead of his opponent. So if he turn 8 Tyrions, the Mind Control, even if it is in the hand of Krip, isn't going to be available. He knows that. Avenging Wrath is the best option for him right now to soften things up, and he gets 1 creature out of it. That's not bad. Okay, and as it turns out, there is no Mind Control in his hand, and there isn't going to be next turn either. He may Drake here, just a card draw, because I suspect he knows, hey, there's a possibility of something nasty coming out. I need to try and get a hold of that, but I think it's going to have to be Tyrion next turn, surely. And again, no Mind Control. This is good news for Artosis potentially here.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he doesn't know that yet. He's going to have to take the risk one way or another. I agree with you.
There's nothing else. There really isn't. He can't let that stuff stay on the board. He's got to protect himself. It's high damage. He's already going to take 11 just right now.
Actually, if he does Tyrion next time, too, there is a Shadow Word Death available, which is going to give him, of course, the 5/3 weapon. But the problem is there's enough damage on board that it doesn't matter. So if we see Tyrion, game is over and Krip wins.
Yeah, and I think game might be over and Krip wins anyway at this point. He's got to risk the Tyrion. Out it comes. There it is.
Oh, no. And this is going to be devastating for Artosis when he sees what's about to happen.
Yeah, that Shadow Word Death sitting there. It gets Shadow Word Death, and that, as
he drew the Mind Control, actually.
All right, never mind.
And there it is, 1-1
obliterated. That was crushing defeat there.
That Priest deck has now gone 4-0 in the semifinals and finals, and it has been quite efficient for Krip. Artosis, of course, was just dealt a loss. It is his second loss overall of the tournament, but we have a nice even match. We're 1-1.
I wonder if we see Priest on Priest with that very strange deck. Now, obviously, we didn't want to give away too much about the deck while the guys didn't have their soundproof headphones on, but of course, now we can talk a little bit about it. That deck from Artosis is very strange. It is sitting on a bunch of cards which are not commonly used all the time. Things like Prophet Velen, the legendary for the Priest, which actually doubles the effect of healing and damage. 2 circles of healing. Again, very strange card because it costs nothing, but it does 4 healing to everything. But the sting in the tail, 2 Alkanized Soul Priests, which are very strange cards because they change any healing that you do into damage.
That's right.
So you can wipe the board very effectively with circles of healing in that kind of scenario. With Prophet Velen, you can make things even nastier.
All right, guys, well, our competitors are ready to go, so let's jump into game number 3 right now between Artosis and Kripparrian here at the finals of the Innkeeper's Invitational.